Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, cool. Right, so we're going to get going. Like I just said there, if you've got any questions at any point, just come on. Let's just shout them out and just have a conversation about it. So it's nice to be here, seeing a lot of familiar faces, etc. So today we're going to talk about real-world assets on Polkadot, how we can use that with AI, and specifically how we feel that Artisanal fits into all of this. So going into what is Artisanal. So before I went full-time in Web3, I worked in the built environment as a quantity surveyor and a cost consultant. And during my time in industry, found there was a lot of inefficiencies with process management, data management, and that led to increases in time and cost, which cost everybody a lot of money. So our focus at Artisanal is to enable developers and collaborating parties to easily interact with project data in a fully transparent manner, and this drives accountability and dispute resolution. So what we're building is a fully transparent data dashboard, which is completely open source and can be queried at any time. So the aim of what we're trying to do here is reduce the fragmentation in industry, reduce the data silos, and from that, we can query it, and dispute resolution gets a lot easier, and communication gets a lot easier. So we've got a little video that we prepared, so I'm going to press play on that now.
Artisanal is pioneering the way we interact with real-world assets in the built environment. By leveraging blockchain and AI, Artisanal eliminates the need for trust via the democratization of data. Architects and designers have the ability to mint their work on the Artisanal platform and attach intellectual property rights to the tokenized asset, ensuring any transfer of the design can also equate to a transfer in legal ownership. By doing so, they have access to a global marketplace and the opportunity to accrue tokens as a result of decentralized community governance. Throughout the project lifecycle, AI agents pull key milestones onto the blockchain to ensure transparency for all stakeholders, with rewards distributed for timely deliverables, increasing both efficiency and profit margins for construction developers. After project completion, stakeholders will have access to Artisanal's decentralized dispute resolution toolkit. Time and money is saved on often lengthy disputes by leveraging a pool of independent arbitrators with voting power weighted based on tokens pledged and industry experience, and protected by pseudo-anonymous digital identities, or DIDs.
Cool. That video will be coming out in Spanish as well, and I'll explain a little bit about why that is in a second. So that's really what we're doing. Here's the reason why, and here's the problems that we have in industry right now. So you see the lovely branches here are the issues that we have, and the solutions that we're proposing are the routes. So in construction projects, you have multiple stakeholders using multiple different toolings, right? So design management, project management, payments, etc. And what happens when you have multiple people using multiple toolings is that you have silos of data, right? And so when you have silos of data, it becomes very difficult to unravel who is responsible for what when a dispute arises. So 70% of construction projects exceed their budget by 10%. Which is pretty crazy, especially when you think about large-scale projects like, I don't know, for example, Wembley Stadium in London, HS2 in the UK as well. We just can't deliver a project on time or on budget. So this is where we're proposing to have a all-in-one solution where we API into existing project management solutions, and we don't have to have the steep learning curve of people using blockchain. We just tap into existing products. So the first issue that we're looking to solve, the lowest hanging fruit, is the disconnected global workforce. And how we're going to do this is we're going to explain this now. So we've spent the last 6 months in South America doing brand activation events for Artisanal. We've been talking to architects, engineers, students, just really kind of validating our problem statement. And from this, in our last event in Buenos Aires in the end of June, we announced a partnership with the IA Lab, and just want to take the time to shout out Marina and Gigi for being absolutely instrumental in making this happen, and we're super excited about this. So, why partnership? So what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to challenge industry norms and present a new way of how we can approach construction projects. So the University of Buenos Aires is a super interesting case, right? It's completely free to attend. All of the lecturers are alumni, and and consistently one of the top performing universities in Latin America and the world, and they've got this flywheel of talent. But we're proposing that we use our platform to help redevelop some of the campus facilities there, and this gives us the opportunity to test out our product as well. So we will be running the world's first on-chain architecture competition, and the winning design will get built in real life. And what this does is this shows how we can use decentralized decision-making to democratize data and to show that you can have a different way of making positive impacts on community-built products. So as we continue our relationship with UBA, we're going to be doing iterative feedback and continuing to add cool features like staking, DIDs, and eventually we'll have this all-in-one project management solution. So we're super excited for this. Okay, so I'll go through this quickly because this is kind of what the video showed, but this is a little flow about how we see the product working for the MVP on this slide, and then the next slide will be the post-MVP. So you post a job advert on the platform like you would on Fiverr or Upwork or anything similar. People can then tender for the work. So you use it in exactly the same instance as using your own project management software. You upload, and then there's tokenized designs now, and you can attach IP to the metadata. So we're working with the guys at HODGSON. They're doing some really cool stuff with this. And once the design's tokenized, as you can see there, any trace of transfer is on the blockchain. And then future sales give the original creator access to royalties. So architecture is huge, designers are awesome, but there's no creator economy there yet. This is what we propose, that we're going to bring this to architecture and engineering. And then looking a little bit further down the line, we want to put all key decisions on stage on our platform. So during the build phase, every decision is put on chain, and then this gives absolute transparency. And then what happens as we go through, if there's ever a dispute, people can just read the blockchain, and then from there, arbitrators can then make a decision as to who is responsible for what time and what cost. And Tim's going to touch on this in a second. But the whole idea here is that we're really just trying to have open source and decentralized decision-making within architecture and construction. So I'm going to pass it over to Tim now, I believe.
Right. Can you hear me? Cool. So why blockchain? You've got the obvious benefits. Smart contracts, automating payments. You've got rewards distributed for timely deliverables to increase the efficiency for all stakeholders throughout the build. What really sets Artisanal apart is our dispute resolution toolkit, which is completely decentralized. We leverage a pool of independent arbitrators, which gives everyone fair and equal access to arbitration events. Next slide. So by leveraging game theory principles, we ensure that the network's not spammed, so any stakeholder in the build process can enter into a dispute. By doing so, they have to pledge a certain amount of tokens. Both parties in the dispute will have to pledge the tokens. If similar to what you see in Polkadot with validators earning rewards and getting slashed for whether they're good or bad actors. So if it's a bad dispute, or if they've got no case, they'll get slashed. And tokens that are slashed from essentially the loser of the case, they go to reward the arbitrators. So these arbitrators are distributed globally. Their industry credentials are leveraged via DIDs, so via something like Kilt. And yeah, that's about it. Cool, thank you.
Yeah. If anyone's got any questions, just feel free to shout them out, yeah.
Yeah, so in the step that you are showing, are you guys planning at some point to integrate in tools like Autodesk? Like you were saying that to put the design, and then will we at some point, let's say I'm an architect, I'm doing my tender and I'm doing designs, I can put my copyright, and will I be able as well with those copyright and templates to put them on an Autodesk marketplace somewhere?
Yeah, 100%. So you do your designs in just exactly the same way that you would do normally, and then you just put it straight onto the Archisinal platform. And then when you tokenize it, you can stick the IP against it. In terms of, was the question, can you sell it on Autodesk like when you go back? Probably not, because it's an NFT, right? So like you can sell it on an Archisinal platform, but again, any key decision, it would be then put on chain, right? So it's the IP, but if you sell something on Autodesk, you don't have IP attached to that, right? So a big problem that is happening with architecture competitions is that designs get stolen, and they're expensive to enter as well. So what we're proposing here is that for this competition, put your designs on chain, you don't have to pay to enter, and then you can also sell the designs as well afterwards as well. So you can actually earn from participating rather than having to pay to participate.
Thanks.
Thanks. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Thank you.
Okay.